5 reasons Denmark is not the right country for you. Is Denmark the right country for you? The question will be placed in the right context of the country you presently are in. If you already are living in Denmark and have lived there for some time, it's all too easy to be convinced and convince others. You can quickly make the determination as to whether or not the country is right for you. But for those of you coming from an EU land outside Nordic, or those presently living in any of the Americas, need to carefully consider these 5 reasons Denmark is not the right country for you. Sure, no one can make this decision for you, yet this video will go a long way in aiding that decision. 5. It's difficult to make friends. We know humans are social animals, thriving on friendship. That's why it's natural to want to make more friends. For those who can't suppress this natural desire, Denmark is not the right country to live in. You have to be prepared to deal with homesickness if you're not fully prepared to put on a lot of work to make friends. But if you are willing to go all the way, you can be sure to enjoy a thriving social life. Danes are known throughout the world to be quiet and highly private people. It takes the herculean task to crack the shell. If you're an extrovert, don't be surprised that you have a lot of brick walls to scale, because it is not as easy as it is in the US or more friendly European countries to just walk up to a stranger and strike a sustainable conversation that can lead to a lasting friendship. Social interaction here is more regulated than anywhere else. People are very structured in the country, such that you need to book weeks ahead of time before you can get them to talk to you. Hey, don't get that wrong impression. The people of Denmark are very nice. It's just that you can't expect the spontaneity you observe in Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, or even Europe. Complicating the matter is the issue of language. Yes, many Danes speak English or other languages besides Danish, yet this doesn't guarantee smooth conversation, if at all you get a chance to communicate. Accent and foreign language incursion can get in the way and can stifle an attempt toward meaningful communication. We include this point in a video we made about the pros and cons of living in Denmark. 4. Documentation can be a challenge. Documentation is another one of the 5 reasons Denmark is not the right place for you. Moving to another country requires a lot of documentation. Apart from travel filings, you still have to deal with insurance, health, finances, taxes, and even residency. In Denmark, the bureaucracy attached to this is tiring, no thanks to its complexity. The process is quite different from whatever you may have known in your country of origin, but the good thing is that it can be learned such that you'll get used to it. One of the most crucial areas where documentation challenges rear their heads is obtaining Danish citizenship, particularly citizenship by naturalization. Though it has been made clear that you need to have resided legally in the country for a continuous period of 9 years, to be an eligible applicant for Danish citizenship, it goes a lot beyond that. There are several other conditions, including the age requirement of 18 years old, the adoption of kids who must be under 12, and other conditions. Establishing all these relationships by means of acceptable documentation can be challenging. Many who have met these requirements could not lay claim to them because of poor documentation. Unfortunately, as we shall soon see, Danish is a difficult language to learn. Your inability to fully comprehend the content of a document can further complicate the process of documentation in the country, thereby making it challenging. 3. High rent. You likely have seen in one of our videos that the cost of living in Denmark is high. This is due to the obvious fact that Denmark is a heavily taxed country. Well, don't want to dwell on this for so long. Please see one of our videos on this channel. The title is Pros and Cons of Living in Denmark. It highlights this and other reasons that might lead you to the conclusion that Denmark is not the right country for you. Based on that fact, would you not readily expect such a highly taxed country with the attendant high cost of living to have a rather high rent? For one thing, the country's housing options are very limited. Consequently, the housing market in Denmark, especially in Copenhagen, can be challenging. If you live in and around Copenhagen, or you know someone living there, kindly ask him or her to corroborate or contest this assertion. And you will pretty soon find that it is an expensive place to find accommodation. If you are from the US or other countries with similar housing features, you will find that you would be living in a smaller home and pay almost 3 times the price in your country. And the situation in Copenhagen is definitely a reflection of the entire housing sector in Denmark. 2. Danish is a difficult language to learn. The second reason Denmark is not the right country for you is that the language of the country, Danish, is such a difficult language to learn. Meanwhile, a lot of Danish aren't going to speak their language to you because they don't want to embarrass you and you won't be able to speak it the way they would. It can be tough for non-natives to enjoy living in Denmark because you won't be able to communicate freely. To make matters worse, everything in the Danish language is built on their pronunciation and they have a lot of accents. It's quite difficult for a native Danish speaker to listen to someone with a foreign accent. It is disturbing for them and they can't flow freely with someone struggling with their language. Even attempts to learn Danish before you move to Denmark will have little success. At best, if at all any. You'll pretty soon learn that most of the apps out there aren't going to teach the Danish you need to know. What you'll learn are strictly formal expressions or academic phrases that you won't find any usefulness for in the day-to-day conversation. Meanwhile, the apps can't tell exactly if you have learned to speak well, though some of them have features that supposedly track your progress with the language. You'll only know how much you understand. Though many Danes speak English or other languages besides Danish, you would have to struggle to communicate with them because those foreign languages aren't natural to them. 1. Limited job opportunities. The highly limited job opportunities are one of the 5 reasons why Denmark is not the right country for you. Residents and citizens of this country may not quickly notice how limited job opportunities in this Nordic country are. Actually, some might argue that the country has some of the lowest unemployment rates in the world. While we may agree with that, and with the fact Denmark is even included in some analyses that it may soon face a labour shortage, we see some important factors being overlooked. These are factors that result in limited job opportunities in the country. For one thing, this is a very small country with a small job market. If you're not in the country via a special job placement program, you'll see in practical terms how difficult it can be to land your dream job. Some expats have been trying unsuccessfully for years to change their jobs. Many are simply getting by with whatever they find as their job just to sustain their lives. So if you're going to insist on landing the job that fits your situation or just must practice your skills, Denmark is not the right country for you. Further limiting the opportunity to get nicely employed is the language barrier mentioned a while ago. Those who don't speak Danish are shocked to find that their opportunity to get a job is severely limited. This is one of the dark sides to living in Denmark for non-Danish speakers. This is discussed exhaustively in one of our videos on this channel that dwells on the dark sides of living in Denmark. Now, what's your decision? Is Denmark the right country for you? We so much love to hear from you. Please let us continue this discussion in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.